Hey everyone, if you've ever found yourself staring at your lab bench wondering whether those little metal buckets for your centrifuge are actually worth the hassle, today's video is for you. I recently picked up a set of these Eppendorf 750ml round buckets for the S-4-104 rotor, and I've got some honest thoughts to share. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let me say that these buckets are exactly what you'd expect from Eppendorf solid, no-frills lab equipment that just does the job. They're designed specifically for the S-4-104 rotor, which is great because you don't have to worry about compatibility issues. If you're already using this rotor, these buckets will fit like a glove. They're round, which is perfect for balancing your samples, and they hold up to 750ml each. That's plenty of space for most routine spins, whether you're pelleting cells, separating proteins, or just cleaning up after a messy extraction. One thing I really appreciate is how straightforward these buckets are. No complicated latches or weird locking mechanisms, just a simple design that snaps into place. That might not sound like a big deal, but when you're running multiple spins in a row, every second counts. The buckets slide right into the rotor, and you can get them balanced and spinning in no time. Plus, they're made of stainless steel, so they're durable and easy to clean. I've tossed mine in the autoclave a few times already, and they come out looking good as new. Another practical benefit is the pack of two. If you're like me and you often run parallel samples, having a spare bucket on hand is a lifesaver. You don't have to wait for one to finish spinning before loading the next batch, which saves you a ton of time over the course of a day. I've also found that keeping a backup set around means I'm not scrambling if one gets damaged or lost. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference in day-to-day lab work. Now, let's talk about the downsides. The first thing to note is that these buckets are sold separately from the rotor itself. If you don't already own the S-4-104 rotor, you'll need to budget for that as well. It's not a huge deal, but it's something to keep in mind if you're starting from scratch. Also, while the stainless steel is durable, it can be a bit heavy, especially when you're loading them up with samples. If you're working with a delicate balance or a sensitive centrifuge, you'll want to double-check your rotor's maximum load capacity to make sure these buckets won't push you over the edge. Another thing to consider is the price. Eppendorf isn't exactly the budget-friendly option in the lab supply world, and these buckets are no exception. They're not cheap, but they're also not outrageously expensive either. If you're running a lab where downtime is costly, investing in reliable equipment like this is usually worth it. Just be prepared to spend a little more upfront compared to some generic alternatives. So, who should actually buy these buckets? If you're using the S-4-104 rotor and you need reliable, no-nonsense lab equipment that's built to last, these are a solid choice. They're especially handy if you're running multiple samples at once or if you just want the peace of mind that comes with a well-made product. On the other hand, if you're on a tight budget or you're working with a different rotor, you might want to look elsewhere. In the end, these Eppendorf buckets do exactly what they're supposed to do: hold your samples securely while they spin, and do it consistently every time. They're not flashy, but they're dependable, and that's what matters most in a lab setting. If you think they'll fit into your workflow, go ahead and give them a try. The link is below if you want to take a closer look. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Eppendorf 582-074, 2003 buckets for rotor S-4-104, 750ml round, pack of two, sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like round bucket for centrifuge rotor and works with Eppendorf S-4-104 rotor, sold separately, actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off.